today we will be discussing dictionaries. What a dictionary is, how they work, how they're being used, and all that. So, dictionary. A dictionary is a collection of keys and values. They are stored in curly braces and they have keys and values. Please do note that keys should be unique and immutable, and values can be anything and can be changed anytime. Also, they are mutable or can be changed or altered. They are also unordered, unlike other data types. Dictionary, like any other dictionary, has a word and a meaning, but in Python, we call them key and value, which bears this format: curly brace, key, a colon, and the value, a key. A key can be an integer or a string, while a value can be anything: an integer, a string, a tuple, a set, a list, or even a boolean. If you're not very familiar with data types, you may want to check out our data types and operators video. I will try to put that on the cards on top so you can check them out later. Okay, so now for a dictionary sample, we have my dict assigned with a dictionary. So your dictionary starts with a curly brace, then you have my key as your first key, and then my value as your first value. As I told you earlier, it can either be an integer or a string. So there you go. The value can also be a type list, a type dictionary as well, or a set, or any data type you can actually think of. So now, jumping to working with dictionaries. There are two ways of accessing values in a dictionary. Given our first sample earlier, the first way is through getting your dictionary name and giving out your value. This sample will print out my value, as you can see here. Your my value there. The next one is through a function called get. A get function needs the key, so it will get your value with your respective key. So that goes with the same printout. Okay, so using them in the code. One, you can use it in a for loop. Using the same example from earlier, we have your for loop here. For you to be able to access your keys and values, you need your function dot items. So that is your dictionary dot items, so you can access both key and value. So when it goes into that loop, it prints out your key and your value individually. So for this sample, the results would have to be your key and your value, in this case my key and my value, and then 1 and then the word 1, 2 and then the number 2, and the last one should be my list and your empty list. Okay, another usage is for just the keys. If you just need your keys and not the keys and the values, you can opt to use dot keys instead of dot items. So looking here, you print out your key. That will have to print out my key, 1, the word 2, and my list. The last usage for the for loop is values. So dot values just prints out the values of your dictionary. So if you're going to print out the val, then you will just have to print out my value, 1, 2, and your empty list. Okay, The next one is using it in an if statement. Continuing from our example earlier, and this my dict dot items example earlier, so we can get both the key and the value. Oh, by the way, whatever the first variable is, that's where your key will be stored, and the second variable will have to be for the values. So whatever you put there, it's either just k or v or whatever variable you like. It will automatically store the first keys to the first variable and your values to the second variable. Okay, going back to if, we added your if statement here. So we are looking for the letter E in value. So if you have your letter E in the value, then that will have to be printed out. You print your key and your value. So in this case, this will have to print out my key and my value, 1 and 1, 2, and the number 2 will be skipped out because it contains no letter E in it, and your empty list has no E in it, so you don't really expect your last two elements to be there. So that's it for today. I hope you like this video. I'll see you in the next one.